Oh, that's much better. Oh, hello. Looks like I have somebody. Just a few more minutes or another minute or so to see if we have anyone else that will join us. And then I will get started. Today we're going to be talking about breaking through the mindset that is sometimes out there where it's like an all or nothing thing, because we come from and we produce so much more when we can appreciate any effort that we're doing. So the micro changes, the efforts that end in sad faces, we're going to be covering all of that stuff. All right, it's 7:01, so I'm going to get started here. So I'm Sarah from Aligned with Sarah, and this is Let's Talk Tuesday, August 3rd. We've just moved into having each of these Let's Talk Tuesdays on the first Tuesday of every month. That way, it makes the content a little bit more rich, I think, and as well as it helps give me time to kind of allot it for the parts of my practice that are building, which is the whole goal of having things like this. So tonight's Let's Talk Tuesday is about the mindset of all or nothing. So there's a ton of ways to approach any goal. And I think sometimes people get really into, we have fight response, we have flight response. So like fight or flight, or we also have freeze. And I think sometimes when we are met with this like reality of, I want to exercise, I want to make more money, I want this like different sort of experience with a relationship, I want my house to look a certain way. Any of the goals that we have those responses sometimes, not everyone, but sometimes, where we sometimes want to really fight it. I don't want to invest the money in this. I don't have time for this. That's too much of, it's too far gone. It's never going to happen. We have that fight response. We also have the flight response where we just want to run away. We want to, just close the door. We won't go in that room. Just don't check online banking. We'll just figure it out later. There's like that flight response. We also have that third response of freezing, where we kind of don't know what to do. And I think sometimes that comes from feeling like we're overwhelmed, not knowing where to start. And I think it ties in quite nicely to the mindset of that all or nothing. If I want to exercise, that's like exercising is usually like the perfect thing, the perfect way to build out this, to talking about the all or nothing experience. So I think sometimes when people get that information, you need, like, let's think about 20 minutes of exercise a couple times a week. I think they don't place value in any effort that's going to go into that 20-minute. I think, I know with me, sometimes I launch into like this experience of like, I need to have these like 6-pack abs. I need to be exercising. I need to like cardio. I need the anaerobic stuff. I need like all of this stuff kind of like can flood into me because I have this image of the end result, and it seems so overwhelming to get to that end result. So that's where like this, we can have those fight, flight, or freeze responses. So this Let's Talk Tuesday topic is about all of the stuff in between, the all or the nothing. And there is like an infinite amount of effort in between those two extremes. And I want to talk about a story because I love analogies. And I want to talk about ways to beat that mindset that can take over and slow us down and really put a wrench in the system of getting any sort of progress done. So the story that I want to tell is another one that I love. I guess all of my analogies, like I'm always excited to talk about anything forever, always. There is like a proverb. I don't even know. It's some sort of like educational story. And it's about a mason splitting a stone. And the story is, or like the thought is that comes from the story is it the last strike on that stone that breaks it? Or is it the first strike that breaks it? Or is it all of the strikes together, all of those micro efforts coming together to hit the stone? When we break a stone, I guess, you're going to like use your chisel and etch a mark. I'm picturing like a flat stone, like a cinder block. And then you just keep going over those marks, You keep making this like ditch. And then eventually the stone will break in half, but it's not the first effort and it's not exactly the last effort. It's everything in between that is what actually breaks that stone into the two pieces or whatever it is that you're trying to do, to have that goal of the edge that you want or the angle that you need. It's every effort is received and every effort is making a change. We don't see it until the last strike. And we for sure don't necessarily see it on the first strike or the 10th strike or the 50th strike, depends on what you're doing. But it's all of that effort in between, all of those things that we're doing. So a little bit before I was talking about how we can like have that imagery of what it is we're trying to do. I want to start exercising, and then we might have this like, completely over the top, like Olympic gold medalist visualization of a person. We might also have this like attitude about that person. We might have a lot of judgment. I think that this applies quite frequently with when we think about like a financial goal and we think about people that have money. And I want to say just a few weeks ago, time flies, so I don't necessarily know exactly when it was, but I was talking to a friend of mine and she was like, these people are loaded, but they like don't act rich at all. And I was thinking that is like this mindset that a lot of people have. And I've, fall into that category sometimes where I think about, we all have had, some sort of connection in the news with very wealthy people, building rockets and just going up into the atmosphere and coming down. And I feel like we tend to have some passionate feeling about that. I know I do. I've heard other people have that, where there is a stigma that we might have around people with money. And that stigma is going to keep us from attracting that, because our subconscious mind has this like strong connection to the fact that those people have these traits and we don't want those traits. They might be rude, they might be inconsiderate, they might be this, whatever, which is not the case for every wealthy person out there. But that's like this mindset that keeps us from, it's very similar to the all or nothing. The all in situation would be, going for it, connecting to all of those aspects that we might think of with the Olympic body, the very wealthy, people launching up into the earth for millions of dollars, whatever. All of that stuff might feel overwhelming to us, and it might be rejected by us because we have those things that hold us back from them in our subconscious mind. I'm getting way off track and I'm not following my notes. I feel like I'm kind of talking in a circle, because that's how it goes sometimes. And I haven't done one of these I think I missed last week, right? Or was it 2 weeks? I don't know. It feels like it's been forever. So I'm a little bit all over the place. But all of those thoughts that are in our subconscious mind, they come together and they create this all or nothing experience that we think we need to have. We need to be all in. We need to be creating all of that stuff. And it's negative stuff. And then there's this pushback, creating any effort, and is a more realistic way of approaching goals, and connecting to the stories that you believe in, connecting to the stories that make sense. I want to make more money, so these are the facts. These are the financial facts. I can pay off this credit card. I can get ahead if I take $50 every week and put it into my retirement, or take $50 and put it into a savings account. Sticking to those facts and separating from that all story, so you can get away from the nothing story. Wait, what's this? These lead us into steps of finding a new routine. So I just talked a little bit about that financial piece, and like letting go of the negative pieces of what we see as part of the all, part of the end result, part of the goal. With the exercise, is another, we can just do another example, because that's what I have on my note paper. So I thought I would talk about it. So with the exercise goal, it's not about, that Olympic gold, unless you're in that category, but I'm like average person. So that is off that's way over the top. And that puts me in that all or nothing mindset where it doesn't feel realistic, where I can do that. So the way I get around that is I set myself up for my successes and reward myself for showing up. So when I put my yoga mat out to do yoga, in my mind, I have trained my mind that once I roll out that's the hardest part, is showing up. The hardest part is showing up, just rolling out that yoga mat. And my goal is basically complete. My goal is not to be, this, what I used to imagine as my goal of like weight or strength or flexibility or stamina, as far as like being able to do 90 minutes, maybe whatever. I set myself up for success now, and my goal is to show up. If exercise is your goal, another example for that, that I have here on my notes, is like a way to get into your goal is when you wake up, I have dogs, so put the dog's leashes right by the coffee maker. So I would have to move them. And once I move them, then the dogs are just like very determined to go for a walk. And it sets me up for success, because when I get over there, when I touch them, I have kind of a community that's encouraging me to go for my walk and to get that part done. And even if it's a 10-minute walk, my dogs are super happy. I'm super glad to have set myself up for success, and to have, when I put the dogs on the leash and I'm out the door, I've already completed my goal. Like I've shifted gears into my micro change, into my micro goal, and it brings forward this energy, this energy of success, because I'm on my way to my exercise goal. I'm on my way to that 20 minutes gone. And I think when we put energy into setting ourselves up for success, like the $50 or that's the financial example, the exercise example, I just gave 2 of them. And with relationships, setting yourself up for success with that is using words for expressing what it is that, I'm feeling, what it is that I expect, carving out mutual time for, even if it's 5 minutes, for just showing up. Let's just sit down for 5 minutes. Let's just have our coffee in the morning for 5 minutes. And it doesn't even have to be 5 minutes. It could just be a few moments of silence, a few moments of holding hands, small things that set us up for success. I think once we stop and once we slow down, I think we can realize how much of our brain is taking over and creating snowballs, or creating boulders or whatever, creating something, snowballing small things into bigger things, and letting that take over, and instead of micro changes that grow into things that are more beautiful. So gosh, I have notes all over the place and I'm not doing very good talking about them, but let's see. So the small steps. Oh, yes. And this other thing this exercise is a lot of, was on my mind quite a bit with when I was writing this out. The other tip that I have for kind of breaking through that mindset of all or nothing and appreciating the micro changes is finding the things that you like to do. So I think a lot of times when people think exercise, they think like running or the gym or lifting weights or whatever, and reminding yourself that that first reaction is not necessarily, well, it's a reaction. It's not a response. It's not a connection to something that might be what you like to do. Dancing is exercise if you like to dance. Cleaning is exercise if you like to clean. Of course, walking, the dog stuff, treadmills, even just stretching, that is beneficial for the body. So, and then my other reminder here is setting, another tip for setting yourself up for the success is making troubleshooting goals. So, again, with the exercise, plan for rain, plan for snow. This is New York. Holy cow. We can have winter, spring, summer, and fall in 1 week or just a few days. So planning for, if you do love to run, make sure you have a plan or an alternate idea for, when you're cueing yourself into your goal, you're putting on your sneakers, you're rolling out your yoga mat, your whatever, make sure you have more than one option. If your plans, have this potential of, or you experience your initial plan not working out. So, you can't roll out your yoga mat because the dogs like climb all over you or whatever it is. So you make another plan to, go upstairs or shut the door or do whatever, or, take them for a walk first. And then, so you can get the dogs organized so they're not, crying and complaining. As you're meeting or as you're attempting to reach out and have these micro goals of showing up for 2 minutes, showing up for 3 minutes, make sure that if it's not working, that you're taking that in as just information. I need to change how I'm beginning this process. I need to change how I'm doing this process. This process is very weather dependent. I need a backup plan, something else that I enjoy. Finding community of people that are on the same path as you. Sometimes that's great for people. Sometimes it feels like too much pressure, but I feel like there is a benefit if that works with you. If you have the right person, also, this person has to already be on the path with you. It is not beneficial to try to drag people through the experience if they're not on the same page as you. So that's going to further complicate. That's going to be a whole other wrench in the system as far as this, I'm going to go off on this whole other tangent right now. Very, very briefly touching in. Okay, I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but if you find yourself doing those things, then it's the realization that you're very susceptible to self-sabotage, and you don't need to beat yourself up about it. It's just being aware of, wow, my energy is really dumping into this commitment of this other person that's not into it. My energy is really dumping into this whole experience that's not realistic for me. So checking in to make sure that you're not in a place where there's self-sabotaging that's happening. So I think I've was basically throwing darts at my notes, but I do think that I on here. The big parts are appreciating the micro changes, because at the end of the day, it is so much like when we're chipping away at that cinder block to try to cut it in half. Every single effort counts. Every single effort is making a change. And I think that when we put our energy into that, when we put our energy in rewarding ourselves for showing up and rewarding and setting ourselves up for success, checking in if we realize that we are self-sabotaging or making things too complicated or throwing our commitment all over other people, we're not really owning our own behavior, and we're not really on track with our goals. And the only thing to do is to regroup and assess and then approach it in a different way. Because if we can acknowledge what's happening is not helpful, then we can build away from that and we can build into something else, which is super valuable. It is not valuable to keep doing what you're doing and keep getting what you're getting when that result is not what you want. So goodness, I missed one or week or whatever, and I feel like I'm all off craziness with this Let's Talk Tuesday. So that's my talk about that specific topic. I do see there's a couple people here. If you're able to do something in the chat and you want to talk about something specific, for sure, let me know. In the next few minutes, I'm just going to talk about upcoming events. Just so that's out there. This is August, the beginning of August. Next week, we have our reading group, which I am so excited about. I absolutely love this book. I'm reading it again just to kind of absorb a little bit more. The book is The Four Agreements. I do feel like I will be doing another reading group on this book. I think that it's a book that it's worth reading through. And then I feel like there is so much value in just like opening that book up to whatever page it falls open to on whatever day and just reading a little bit, because there is so rich with information that there's so much to take away from it on every single page. So I would like to have that being an ongoing discussion, to touch in with that maybe at the end of the year, as like an end of the year assessment, an end of the year planning, and then, moving into the fresh end of the new year. So end of January or end of December, beginning of January, something like that. I'd like to touch in on this again. So that reading group, like I said, is meeting next week. I imagine maybe people here are in that reading group. I cannot wait. If you are in that reading group and I do not have your email, there's a few of you, I have a packet to email out to you. So please get a hold of me and give me that information. Also, since this is the beginning of the month and the community event is kind of already organized and the people are already gathered, I'm going to try to put together something else for the end of this month. I'm not really sure what that's going to be, but I have an email group that I send out semi-weekly emails to remind them about upcoming events like Let's Talk Tuesday or something that I have going on. So I will be announcing that probably also on Facebook and Instagram and the website and wherever else I can put it. LinkedIn, that's the other thing. So I'm going to be putting that together in the future. So we have, I'm looking at this for an October event because there's a lot of things that need to get organized for it. But I'm hoping to do a 4 or 5 week workshop where we will meet once a week for an hour. And it's going to be decluttering your home or your office or whatever situation you're in. You can stay in one room and focus on 5 different areas, kind of like building off of things that we're talking about. But there's going to be 4 or 5 areas of decluttering. My goal is 5, but we'll see how committed people are for wanting to do that. This is going to be a paid workshop for a couple of reasons. Number one, this workshop is geared to helping you get stuff done. So we're going to talk a little bit about the areas of clutter, what it reflects about us, the feng shui around what is there, what we want to create. And then we're going to have 30 minutes of time where we're going to be decluttering. We're going to be moving stuff out, making piles, whatever And we're going to spend a little time connecting with each other, sharing the success of what things look like, if that feels good, and then talking about how it feels to be decluttering those areas. And so that's something that's coming in October. Like I said, it's a paid thing. And it's also a community. So the community is going to help you show up. The community, the time set aside already is going to help you get the work done. And I have found in my years of doing this that when people pay for the workshop, they show up for the workshop. So this is going to be a low fee. Haven't decided it yet. I'm just putting everything together. So I did decide if you are coming in early, you're going to have you're going to be placing input on what areas we're going to be focusing on in the home, office, whatever. You're also going to have input on what day and what time we meet, and you're going to get a discount on the workshop as well. So details will be coming. I am going to have those basic things done by next week, and I'm going to put them on the website and all those social media places for more details about that. And hopefully we can gather some people. It is going to be virtual, so we're going to be Zoom meeting. So you need to have internet access. You can use a phone as well to do the Zoom meetings, just to throw that out there. And let's see, so that's October. And then September, I am not quite sure what I'm going to be putting together. I thought I was going to do that decluttering in September, but I think October is going to be nicer timing. So I will have information up and coming about the community event for September. So that's all I have for tonight. This is a little bit of a longer video. So thank you so much for being here for all of that time. And I don't see anything in the chat. I don't think so. I don't think anybody wants to talk about anything very specific as far as all or nothing or guidance on goals that they're having. If you want to shoot me an email, I mean, I love hearing from everyone. So please just let me know. And I will hopefully see everyone soon, hear from everyone soon. Please subscribe to the website, or not the website, what's this called, YouTube channel, because whenever I'm live or when I post new content, a new video on here, you'll get a notification so that you can be the first ones to check that out. And I don't think I've mentioned this yet on my YouTube channel, but for my website, the lifealignmentsarah.com, is I do a newsletter where I send out a newsletter once a month, and it goes out on the first of the month. And it breaks down all the events that are up and coming. And I do a reflection, which is the basics of the first version of the blog that I post for that month up on the website. So you kind of get your first glimpse of that. And it usually tends to be a little bit more detailed and a little bit more personal and a little bit more connectable. And a lot of people really enjoy the newsletter, and I really enjoy sending it out there. So it's really light information. It's usually my perspective on things. It's, uplifting me. I can put, make 4 different things that are happening in lives, like all come together and like make sense to me. It all makes sense to me. So usually the reflection is about something that's happening and like the deeper meaning and how I can see it connecting these places in my life and the energy that I can feel around it, and where it's taking me, where it's coming from. This month's reflection was about our experience of like only having our moment right now. And this has come from reading the 4 Agreements, which I keep pointing to the book. It's right over there. As well as I was rereading or re-listening to, because it was an audiobook, the Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. And he is all about the power of right now, but I don't know, it really was received a lot differently. And I look forward to reconnecting with that. So that's what the newsletter is about today. And if you're interested in that, you'll find the blog up on the website soon, so you can check that out. So once again, the website is lifealignmentcoachingsarah.com. Once you get on the website, a pop-up will show up. You can put your name in there, and that's for the monthly newsletter. Okay, so that's a half hour. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to jump out of here. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, whoever did that. That's wonderful. I will talk to you guys soon. I will see you next month, and I will announce what the topic will be for next month's Let's Talk Tuesday. Actually, I'll just tell you right now because we won't build the suspense. Oh, we're going to be talking about the value. That's right. I just talked about that. The value of decluttering and having the free-flowing energy in the space around us. So I will see you then and hopefully sometime sooner. And I hope you have a fabulous night. Thanks so much for being here.